supply to the vehicle itself, and also the checking of the telemetry system. So after some checking, we will open another one. So finally, after all the platforms are opened, we will also, at this moment, still have rotational arms, not the platforms, close to the vehicle. And on these arms, we also have pipes and also the cables to control or provide the gas, provide the power supply.
The platforms will open later, so will the retractable arms attached to the rocket. Now, as the current vehicle for China's manned missions, the Shenzhou-13 spacecraft is generally seen as a continuation of its predecessor, both in terms of appearance and functions. But there's one key difference, as CGTN's Liu Jiaxing explains.
China plans to launch 4 manned spacecraft during the 2-year construction phase of its new space station. They're called the Shenzhou-12, 13, 14, and 15.
The 4 ships from Shenzhou-12 to Shenzhou-15 are basically the same. This is the principle of our design. If the ships are different from one another, the ground control can be confusing. We want the ships to be stable.
Basically the same, but there are subtle differences, as engineers learn more from each mission. Insiders say the Shenzhou-13 spacecraft has an eye-catching new docking method.
If all goes well,
catch forward towards the radio docking port. After that, it will pitch 90 degrees and then roll 180 degrees so it can go straight ahead.
Experts say such flexible docking technologies will provide more room in the space station and help with the remainder of the construction phase. Liu Jiaxing, CGTN, Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center.
All right, let's get back to our studio guests here. We talked a lot about the possible cooperation and collaboration between private and public sectors when it comes to space endeavors. But what about what's going to happen on this mission? We talked a little bit about what to expect in terms of technological and scientific experiments. Professor Yang, let's pick up the conversation with you now. We do know that a lot of the technology verification that was carried out on the Shenzhou-12 last time, we will build on that. So the experiments that will be carried out this time, how will they differ from the ones carried out on Shenzhou-12 mission, and what new technology will be tested and verified this time?
Well, you know that the Shenzhou-13 mission is the last mission during the technology verification phase. So in this phase, we will test all the technologies which has not been used before. For instance, we have already mastered the crew transportation technology, the extravehicular technology, and the rendezvous and docking technology before the launch of the Tiangong-1. But all these 3 fundamental technologies of manned space activity, not all the necessary technology for building a space station. For instance, we've already tested the long-term residence in space by the Shenzhou-12 mission, but only 3 months. So this time, 6 months is quite different. Although it has already been tested effective our measures to counter the microgravity influence to the weakening of our muscles, of the loss of bones or loss of calcium, and also the weakening of our neural system. But 6 months is quite different. In the future, you know that the routinary change of our expedition team will be 6 months. So it is necessary to test that first. Our measures is the treadmill, the space bicycle, and also other things if these kind of measures are okay. And also nutrition is a very, very important thing. We've already talking about the menu of their daily life, but also we should have other restrictions and considerations about the calcium and also the energy in their everyday life. So we must follow the suggestions and those from the ground staff. And moreover, you see that we have also some very complex tasks during this Shenzhou-13 mission. You know that today's launch, after this launch, it will be the first time for China Aerospace to dock with the space station from a radio docking port or the Earth-facing docking port. This is quite different. You know that during the years before, we have docked from the front docking port or from the rear docking port. theoretically speaking, this kind of docking, the approaching spacecraft are in the same orbit of the target. But if you dock from the bottom, because the altitude is different, so theoretically speaking, they are in a different orbit. And this relative position is not very not stable one. So there is a very critical requirement to the whole approaching procedure from this kind of docking. You know that during the leaving of the Shenzhou-13 crew, they also partially test this technology. So they perform the approaching process from the bottom, but not dock. So this time, we will actually perform this one. We may also know Wang Yaping is also a member of the Shenzhou-10 crew. So she was trained before about the manual docking. And also you may notice that she is also the backup crew of Shenzhou-12. So we can believe that she has a lot of practice on this kind of training, as well as Mr. Jia Zhigang. So if anything wrong happened to the automatic docking system, as Xian Song has mentioned, we can switch to the manual docking and ensure the safety and the reliability of the whole approaching procedure.
This is all fascinating. I do want to pick your brain on one specific thing about that robotic arm, which was a big feature of the EVAs the last time because they relied on the arm to install devices and to help them carry out a lot of their work in those spacewalks. Will there be new tasks involving the robotic arm this time? And will it be how often is the robotic arm working automatically compared to manually?
Well, you know that this time our EVA will have a very, very important task to install an adapter between what we call the big arm and the small arm. You see that the current arm on board the core module is a big arm with a length about 10 meters. In the future, after the Wentian module is launched, it will take a second arm called the small arm with a length of 5 meters. And it is very interesting that these arms can come together to form a bigger arm about 15 meters long. So we need an adapter. At this moment, this time, the Shenzhou-13 crew will install this adapter or connector between the small arm and the bigger arm. So this is a very important preparation for the future operation of the station, as you mentioned. And also, there is a more important task for them. You see that at present, the Tiangong-2 cargo spacecraft and the Tiangong-3 cargo spacecraft are docking to the station. And this time, in the future, you can seldom see this configuration. This is because we are in the technology verification phase, and we need to test the technology, what we call the transfer technology. Transfer the object from the front docking port to the side bursting port. So this is very important as a backup measure for the future construction of station. You know that the Wentian module and the Mengtian module should first dock to the front docking port and then transfer to the side bursting port. So this procedure, we must ensure the success rate. Usually, we use the transfer
飞行正常。天路1号04节分钟开始。神舟13号载人飞船发射任务取得圆满成功。